Hey, hi, hello. Good morning. It's morning YAP. Y'all, why is it so hard to follow our joy or to be in our joy and to share our joy? I taught a masterclass earlier this year that is available on this podcast and, my Substack, wherever you're listening to this or watching this. And it was called Lift the Joy. A Joy is the Revolution masterclass. And, I always ask, who does the misery serve? And I've realized, especially this week, as I've been the last 6 months or so, I've really been what is wrong with me? Why can't I get out and do these new things that I want to do? And all this stuff. And fairly unhappy with, I talked about this the other day, my social media presence, fairly unhappy with my business. I've been wanting to pivot my business for a very long time. I'm talking 3 years. And I've just gotten to this place. And being a mom, it's that is the most joyful thing because I am an IVF mom. No, not every day is 100% perfect. No, it's not easy being a stay-at-home working mom. None of that is easy. However, I am so in my joy. This morning on my personal Facebook, I shared this post of when we announced Piper's, when we were pregnant with Piper. And it was, it was today, December 17th, and it was 2 years ago. And I just anyway, I have been so avoidant of sharing my joy. And maybe, and I'm just realizing this with y'all right now, maybe it is because joy feels just as vulnerable as the fear, right? And so the ask is to be vulnerable. And also, our environment thrives, right? The society thrives. Capitalism thrives. White supremacy thrives on misery, right? I'm listening right now to Kindred by Octavia Butler. And one of the things that happens in the book is every time that something kind of positive happens, there's almost immediately a backlash, right? The thief of the joy, which I talked about in the original Joy is the Revolution masterclass, and I talked about that pretty frequently. This thief of marginalized joy, right? And this morning, the reason I'm talking about this, right, today, because I almost didn't do one today, and I was okay. And I also almost didn't do one because I can't quite figure out what I want to do for my Christmas look today. So I'm ooh, what do I want to do? And so I've been delaying. But I run a morning podcast 2 days a week, a podcast listen, right? To listen to What a Day. It's from Crooked Media. And anyway, in this podcast this morning, they were talking about how happiness has gone down globally, but especially in the US. People are just not happy because, for all the reasons that y'all already know, affordability, being unable to pursue our dreams, being, working to live instead of living to work instead of working to live, all of these things. And so he was talking about, the guest was talking about, if you're really in the depressed place or, one of those places that you're just sad and you really can't escape it, to make sure that you're seeking out therapy, which I'm first of all, therapy is not accessible to everyone. And I'm a big stand for therapy, but also if you cannot afford therapy, there are definitely free, and lower priced options such as peer support groups, masterminds, sometimes even life coaching is cheaper than therapy. And yes, if you have a severe, if you have a severe thing going on, you should try to see a therapist, but I understand that that's not possible for everyone, right? And so, anyway, excuse me, y'all. It's very dry. What happened? What's the, What happened? Did you lose it? But anyway, I think so much of this, and this is why I did the Lift the Joy masterclass, right? So much of this is because we have stopped authentically sharing with each other. Like on social media, oh my goodness, Piper, that really got stuck. On social media, we have been taught that like you're only supposed to get on and sell. You're not really supposed to like enjoy, you know, or like even if you are in your joy and you're making lots of money and you're able to take these vacations, you got to share it in a specific way for people to pay attention. It's like all of this filtered stuff, right? Got it. And I think because we don't share our joy authentically, right? And people feel bad for sharing their joy when the world is what it is, right? That we really have gotten to a place where there's not enough joy. And that's why I say joy is the revolution, right? Especially for members of the global majority, but like everyone, joy is the revolution because we are not able to sit in our joy. Right? Joy is my revolution. Joy is our revolution. Joy is the revolution. And I just, like, the podcast this morning just tipped that off for me. Anyway, this has been a longer one. For a second, I like looked down and I was like, oh my God, I didn't record any of it. But I did. For a second, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, this has been a longer one. If you want to come see what I did with my eyeballs, check my Instagram stories later today, and I will definitely post. I think we're going to do gold because there's gold in my shirt, Be Merry, and then maybe do an under eye like red something. But this is day 3 of the Christmas looks, so stay tuned and I will see you all around. Toodles.